Hello students, let us evaluate another answer script of Mock 1 English Literature and Language. We are going to use the strategy of one star and three wishes. That means we are going to identify one good quality in this answer script, and we'll give three suggestions to the candidate for improvement. You can see that in reading, the candidate needs a lot of suggestion. Writing marks have been lost almost in all the strands. Let us begin the evaluation. The very first thing, there is a margin which is very dull, but let us see. The very first impact is the presentation. It begins with scoring out. The question number, that is numeral, that is missing. Sub question number is definitely present. The literal is very well placed and the answers are also in place. So it's only the main question number that is missing and all the answers are correct. That means the reading, this area reading was proper, but the candidate has answered extra question which is not required as per the CPSC regulations. So the candidate should read the question carefully. It is a waste of time to respond to extra questions. The second question over here, the candidate has written the question number correctly, but the sub question number has gone into the textual area. This is definitely unacceptable. The sub question number should be in the margin, whereas the option literal should be in the textual area, which is correct, and the answer should be in the textual area. So here the candidate needs to work. If you have any additional suggestions regarding how to improve, you can give that suggestion, but reading marks have been scored. Literature, if there are errors, suggest how you can, what suggestions would you give to the candidate to improve in reading MCQs? Do you suggest reading of the textbook, marking, underlining, and collecting information as a practice? Give your suggestions for improvement. Presentation is very important. You can see a number of answers marked out, scored out, and written, but the answers are correct. Presentation makes a lot of difference. What suggestion do you give to the candidate to improve in grammar? Do you suggest reading or do you suggest working on grammatical exercises? Over here, the candidate has worked on the grammar also and scored, except for one. So suggest how to improve in grammar. Writing, the country, our self-address that was missed out, writing format. As long as the month is written correctly, it is acceptable. The to address, that means the address of the recipient was missed out. That means the candidate has lost marks on the format. Subject is never a full sentence or a paragraph. It is just breaking quarantine rules or three words, and it should be written after the salutation. The person should introduce himself or herself first and then continue writing. Give suggestions for improvement. You can see the candidate has accidentally written his or her name over here, which I have scored out for the purpose of privacy. The name that is given in the question paper, that is to be written is in the signature form, that is in running letters, and the same is to be written in capitals in the brackets. This is to be remembered by all the students. It was a common error which was found in quite a few papers. Next is paragraph writing. The first regulation is that it should be one concise paragraph instead of multiple paragraphs. You can see it is more of an essay than a paragraph. It should be written together without any space in between. Give suggestions for improvement. Literature, the writer's name, the prose form, the title, and the strong verb. Once such example has been written out by the examiner, give suggestions. How can the candidate improve and overcome errors. Words like chapter, lessons do not exist in the literature. It is the type of prose, short story, autobiography, or it is if it's a poem, what kind of poem? If it's a ballad, it's a that is to be mentioned. But lesson and chapter is definitely out of question in a literature answer script. If it is the title to the story, it should be written in the single quotes, so that is evident. No textual references were used. It is a restating of the story which will not fetch marks for the candidate. Kindly suggest how the candidate can work on textual references. Should you suggest the reading of the text regularly, underlining, picking information? Give your suggestions to the candidate for improvement. Opening line is missing in almost all the questions. There are no citations used. There's one citation I have just spotted that is used, and then the evaluative language. It can be seen, it is evident that, and then PEE technique, that is to point out, cite an evidence, and explain. Kindly give your suggestions. It is suggested that you give sample answers in as your wish. That means give your sample, then advise the candidate to work on similar or work in this or using the same model the candidate should work. It is requested that you identify one good quality in this answer script and identify and give three suggestions for improvement. Three suggestions which will make a greater impact on writing. The candidate has not used any evaluative language or any technique of responding to literary questions, like for PE technique to point out a quality, to cite evidences from the textbook, and to explain in a narrative form. You can see one more error that is of language. That, for example, the word but is a conjunction. The candidate has used a full stop and capitalized B and then written. It is completely incorrect. The candidate will definitely lose marks on language and expression as well. So give as many suggestions as possible for the candidate to improve, and the candidate will definitely work in that direction for as a practice and for self-improvement. And when you evaluate someone else's paper, then you get the benefit more than the candidate to whom you are giving suggestions. Thank you very much for your